Hello, I welcome you to this video. In this video, I'll be showing you how to create light fixtures like this, and you'll be able to create it and place it on the wall and have a light showing on both ends. And without wasting your time, let's get started. The first thing you are going to do is you are going to go to application menu, click on new, then select family. You look for generic face base, generic face base. This is it here. And sometime this view may be on thumbnail. In case it is on thumbnail, for instance, this is thumbnail, and it will be difficult for you to see it with ease. So what I normally do is to select this view and change it to either details or list. So with the list now, I can easily see the name of what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for generic face base. This is it. So I select that one, click open, and I'm going to save it as family. If I like, I can save it in the Revit family. If I want, I can save it in Revit family. Oh no. Okay. The first thing I will do is to save it. Save as family. Then look for the folder I want to save it into. Let me save it into Revit Tutorial folder, and I give it a name as wall fitting. And the backup should be 1, and hit OK, hit save. Now it is saved. The next thing I will do is to change the unit to millimeter. So I go to manage tab, click on project unit, then on the length, change it to, when you have the unit, change it to millimeters and click OK. Click OK again. Alright, now we want to start our modeling now. And I'm going to go to the front, and if I go to the front, I'm going to pick create extrusion, a simple rectangle, and I want this one to be 50-50, that is 100. I want this to be 50 mm. Press enter. 50 mm. Press enter. And this one should be something like 20 mm, and click empty space. Change the scale to something like 5 or 10. Let's make it something like 10. Okay, let's remove that dimension now. Then the material, let's duplicate this and name it as wall fitting, and the color I want to use is complete black. and click OK. Click OK again, and the extrusion end should be something like 150 mm. 150 mm. Click apply and finish this. Go to your reference level, and I like to move this to the center on constraint. I want to move it to the center of the wall. Okay, that is that. Then if you see what I've modeled now, this is just a cupboard. Okay, this is just a cupboard, and I'm going to go to the front view, and I select create, and I'm going to select extrusion. This time around I want to select cycle, and the radius should be 50, and I drop it, and I'm going to move that cycle up. I'm going to move it up. Let me move it down a little bit so that it is staying on the cupboard I've just created before, and the extrusion end should be something like 200 mm, and I click apply. Then let me go to the reference level. This is the one I've just created. I'm going to select it and on constraint and move it to the center. I want to move it to the center. I can use my arrow key to nudge it a little bit. Okay, let me be sure that it is 100 mm from here. I select this, type 100 so that it will be exactly at the center. Okay, correct. So I'm going to remove this one now, and I will have to, okay, the material is still, if you see the material now, is still wall fitting, so we are good to go. And if you see it in 3D, this is what we have in 3D. Just something like this. Okay, then I'm going to work on it further. I go to approach view. I'm going to offset this to something like, okay, 7 mm. It's not bad. Okay, so that it will be a kind of cylinder. You see it in 3D, this is like a cylinder. Okay, and I go to the same front view, and I go to create. I select extrusion. I select let me pick line this time around, and I give it another material. The material I want to give it is something like light, and I'm going to change the color to something like white, and click OK. Click OK again, and I go to finish it first. Go to elevation, something like left, and I'm going to drag this one. I'll drag it out a little bit, let it extend beyond the body. This is the light we are seeing. By the time we get to Lumion, we are going to make that one to be complete light. And if I go to visual style, I select shaded. Ooh, This is complete black. Okay, I think I can modify it a little bit. Let me change it to something like gray so that we can see what we are modeling, because that black is not allowing us to see what we are modeling. I'll click apply. This is better. Okay, now you see what we have done. I don't want this to be transparent, so I click on edit the material, and I'm going to knock down the transparency to something like 5. Click apply, click OK. This is like a light. All right, now let's go further. Now this is our light fitting. I want to add some aesthetic to it, so I'm going to go to approach view. I go to approach view, and I'm going to create a sort of void. I'm going to create void. I select void, then I'm going to pick line. I'm going to set the offset to something like 1, and like that. Then I'm going to offset this one to something like 40. No, something like 5, because I want it to cut the model. Okay, this is what we have. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to shrink this one. I'm going to shrink it a little bit. Let me okay, I think it's okay. That is that. And looking at it, I can see it has cut this particular base, and I don't want it to cut the base, so what I'm going to do is to edit it. I'm going to go to the front view and use line at this point, take it up, then at this point take it up and split it, and use trim to trim it. Use trim to trim that, and let's finish it and look at it in 3D. Okay, now you can see the base remain what we want it to be. And the next thing is to copy this particular one. I will go to left view, select this one, then can I mirror it? Let's try it. Okay, that is that. And here we go. This is our lighting, our wall fitting, and if I like, I can introduce something here to make it beautiful. I can go to approach view and create extrusion and select, let me pick this time around, and let me set the offset to something like 2 mm, or 1. Let me see if 1 is going to work for me. Okay, 1. I'm going to remove this and let me close this one up because what I'm creating is not a void. Okay, the material, I'm going to create another material and call it ribbon. The ribbon, the color will be white or off-white, something like that. Click OK and finish it. Go to 3D and I am going to stretch this. I just want it to appear where we have the okay. I just want it to appear there. And if I like, I can edit it further. I want it to be a little bit deeper and simply offset. And let me use graphics this time around. Select this, no copy. Select this to here and finish it. Now let's look at it in 3D. Let's save our work. Okay. I will select this, edit, and approach view. I'm going to offset it by something like, let me use graphic tool, and I don't want to copy, and finish that. Let's look at it in 3D. Okay, that one is okay now. Then I select this one again, edit, approach view, select offset, and leave it at graphics. Oh, let's finish that. Let's look at it in 3D. Okay, correct. Everything is working fine now. I'm sure you know that this one is light, but this one is not light. This is just a ribbon. Okay, now we have our fitting. This is our fitting. Let's save it. Let's save our work. This is our fitting. The next thing we want to create is the light source. And in creating the light source, we are going to create another family. Select new, select family again, and we are still going to select generic face base and click OK, click open, and save it as light source. Save it as in the same folder, name it as light source, and the backup should be 1. Click OK, click save. Alright, that is that. So I'm going to click on family type and I'm going to select lighting, light source. I'm going to select light fixture and check this one, light source, and click OK. Okay, now you can see something like this. This shows that is a source of light. Okay, I'm going to select this particular source of light, and the moment I select it, this will appear. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to select photometric web. I will select point first, then select photometric web and click apply, click OK. And the moment I do that, the shape have changed, but that is not where we are going. So I still select it and go to family types, then you click edit, and here we are going to select photometric web file. This is the one we are going to select, and I click on that space, and this will automatically take us to lighting source. And the one I always like to use is Spot Ideal. This is the one I always like to use. I click open, and let's apply and see what we have. Now you can see that it is buried inside the wall, and we don't want that. We want to bring it out, so I still select it again and edit family type. And before we continue, let's change the project unit to millimeter so that we know what we are dealing with. Let's change it to millimeter and click OK, click OK. All right, so I select this one now and go to family type, and the default elevation I like to use 1500 mm, and I click OK for now. Okay, now it's still buried inside the wall. If I select this one now and I click edit, and I change this tilt angle to something like -90, you see what that one is going to do to it. Okay, it has taken it upward, at least it has come out of the wall now. Okay, so I also need to select it again, edit, and I would like to use 0 instead of 90. Let me use 0. I like to use 0 and click apply. Now this is what I want. It's now flat with the wall, and I go to approach view. Okay, let me move it up a little bit. Let me use my arrow key to nudge it up a little bit so that it will not be buried inside the wall, because if it is buried inside the wall, it will not be able to produce light. Okay, then if I go to left, this is it here, it's correct. If I go to floor plan, it's facing this way. I want it to face up, so I'm going to rotate it by 90. I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees and press enter, and I'm going to move it to the, I'm going to select it again, move, Why is it not moving? Okay, since it's not responding to move, I'll use the arrow key to nudge it. And a little bit closer to the center line. And that is that. And let's save the work. Okay, I'm going to load it into our family, and I'm going to, you remember this is the family of wall fitting we were working on before, so that is the one I'm going to load it into. Now I cannot see it here. I've loaded into this project, but I can't see it. And if it happens like this, that you have loaded into the project but it's nowhere to be found, all you need to do is allow this one to be on 3D like this, then expand this family, and you can see this is the one we were working on. This is light source we were working on, and simply drag it and place it there. Let me tap on this space bar. Okay, let's place it like this and see. Let's go to our floor plan and drag this one to somewhere here. Drag it, let it be outside the model. It should not be buried inside the model because the light is coming from a point. If it is buried inside a model, the light will not be able to show. The model will cover it, so allow it to be outside of the model. Okay, very close to the model but outside, something like that. That is when, okay, so what I'm going to do now is to mirror it because I want it to be on both sides. And I'm going to click on mirror, and if you see it in 3D, that is it there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to load it into our projects. I select and load. Before I load, let me save it first. Let me save it and select load, then select our major projects. This is it, and click OK. And you can see it is active, and I'm going to place it on the wall. I want this to be on the wall. Okay, and in case this light is not showing, what to do is to go to visibility graphics. If I go to view and I go to visibility graphics, I go to light fixtures, I expand it. If I uncheck this one, the light will not show. Can you see the light is not showing? So if the light is not showing, the light shape is not showing, all you need to do is to go to visibility graphics and look for light fixtures, expand it, and check light source and click apply, and that way the light will be showing in your model. And if your light is showing in your model, I'm sure when you render it, it is going to show as well. Okay, so in the next video we will see how this light is going to appear in our rendering. And let me see whether you are practicing this. Okay, all right, thank you for watching the video, and see you in the next video. Bye.